123, number 12. This one was interesting. I factored the top because we want to find out where the zeros are. So when I factored it, I got x times x plus 2. So I thought there was intercepts right there and there. But then when I look, I was like, what? There's also an asymptote right there. So basically, this part right here, if I just show it in its factored form, see how we have the x plus 2 and the x plus 2 that could cancel out? That makes a hole. So it's neither an asymptote nor an x-intercept. It's just a hole, so it will look like that. I got carried away. I put that dot there. It's not supposed to be there. I wasn't looking for there to be a hole right there. That actually surprised me. Okay, but so these numbers usually give you the x-intercepts. This one still gives you an x-intercept right here. And then that one, since it has a factor that matches it on the bottom, it just turns into a hole. These two are going to give you some asymptotes. So you'll have an asymptote at 1 and at -3. So there's my 1 and there's my -3. So usually I draw the x-intercepts as little dots across the x-axis, and I'll draw the asymptotes. And then I ask myself, what kind of fraction would this look like if I plugged in, like, say, 100 for x? Well, I can see it'd have a pretty big denominator, but it'd have a way bigger numerator. Wait, what? A big numerator. The denominator would be larger than the numerator, so it would get close to 0. And it's positive, so it would be a zero-ish fraction. But then when it approaches the asymptote, it follows the asymptote up into just infinitely. It gets infinitely close to the asymptote and follows it up. If it disappears above the x-axis, then it will reappear below because it always jumps. So now it's going to come down here. It's going to come up. It's going to look for a way through if it can get through. Well, it has to go through this x-axis, so didn't have a choice. And then it's just going to find its way toward the asymptote as x gets larger and larger, or as x gets smaller and smaller, y will get larger and larger. And then at 2, there's actually going to be a hole, because we still can't have a zero denominator. So that disappeared in, the upward direction. So now we're going to start back down here. It's going to come through. It doesn't see any x-intercept, so it just has to follow along this is kind of a horizontal asymptote too right here. Follow along the x-axis. So there's how your graph is supposed to look.